Hey everybody, Mo here. Really excited in this episode to have Dennis Baltz. Dennis is one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with in the risk management industry. He's at WTW, of course, formerly known as Willis Towers Watson, and he's one of their top advisors to large Fortune 100, Fortune 500 organizations on their biggest, hairiest risk management issues. One of the deepest experts in the space that I know. And he's just had a remarkable career, and he's a big fan of our work and really leverages his Grow Big training and reading the Snowball system. And in this particular episode, we talk about a formative moment when Dennis realized that he can connect well with people, and this idea of growth is a good thing. That's sort of about the first half of this episode. What I think you're really going to like in addition to that is the last half of this episode, where we get really, really practical in the ways that Dennis follows up being helpful, being proactive to people that he's met, both clients and prospects alike. Really cool stuff and some real practical tips that I think you're going to be able to put in place right away as you watch or listen to this particular episode. Now, if you want other practical tips that you can put in place right away, then you can sign up for our weekly newsletter. You can do that at growbigplaybook.com. That's growbigplaybook.com. I spend 2 or 3 hours every week writing what I try to get something you can read in 3 to 4 minutes, deliver that to every Saturday morning to you, and you can use these tips and takeaways to improve your opportunities, your relationships, your own skills, so that you can improve over time. That's at growbigplaybook.com. All right, here is Dennis Baltz. Hey everybody, it's Mo Bunnell, your host here at Real Relationships, Real Revenue, and I'm with Dennis Baltz. Dennis is an executive vice president at Willis Towers Watson. He advises some of the biggest companies in the world on their risk issues. So Dennis, now you're sort of at the top of the food chain when it comes to risk. You work with some of the biggest of the best, but I want you to take it back. I want you to think of, when was the moment that you realized this business development thing might be interesting to you?
Well, thanks, Mo. And first, I just want to say really humbled to be here and great to be on the podcast. I'm a longtime listener, as you know, and just really fun to celebrate our friendship and our networking partnership here today. And so excited to be with you. Let's see, I want to take you all the way back to 1987 to Town Center Mall, and a mall literally 5 minutes from my house, where I worked as a high school market researcher, okay? And so I really want to start with my business development roots, really from a high school perspective. And I had a cool job where I was in a mall trying to solicit folks to come back and do market research in a dark corner of the mall. Not an easy job. Had a chance to really look for the types of demographics we were looking for, either married women or men, different age groups, and had to bring them into our market studies for things like food, like popcorn, could have been a movie. And I found that it was a very difficult job. There were not a lot of folks that wanted to just raise their hand to do that. But Mo, I found that I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was exciting, and I found that I was pretty good at it. And so the beginning of my really helping people and finding solutions to hard problems started in high school when I was working at the nearby mall.
Dennis, it's so interesting as we dig in deeper to season 3, where I'm interviewing some of my top rainmakers, people like you. I'm noticing a trend in it's not for everybody, but a lot of times people had some type of experience, typically earlier in their life, high school, college, something like that, where they had to stretch outside their comfort zone and just ask for something over and over again. I think of somebody like Mark Harris, who's a top rainmaker at Guardian, the big insurance company that you would obviously know. Well, he started selling encyclopedias door to door. And there's lots of other people that had some kind of formative experience early on that was really hard, and B, forced them to continue to reach out when they didn't know somebody. And that played through to them becoming some technical expert like you, but also to be a really successful version of that. So what if you had to pick one thing? I'm envisioning you in a shopping mall and, Twisted Sisters playing on the loudspeaker or something, whatever in 1980, maybe it was Depeche Mode. I don't know what the genre was, but there's some kind of music on the loudspeaker. It's the late 80s. And you're having to approach people over and over again for something they don't want to do. Talk about stretching outside your comfort zone. If you had to pick one thing from that experience that pulls through to today to help you be successful, what would that be?
Yeah, thanks, Mo. I think knowing that I had something that was of value to them, there was going to be a coupon or a cash payment or something that they might be able to use to finish up their shopping experience, but they didn't know that. So I knew I had something that I could help them with, and we had some hard problems that we needed to solve as an organization. And so, taking me back to say 16 or so, I knew that helping people and finding solutions to hard problems was something that I enjoyed.
So this is super interesting because a lot of people would approach that job, and I would guess most people fail at it. You're in the shopping mall. Some people would approach it with the mindset of this person doesn't want to talk to me. This person doesn't have time. This person doesn't want to fill out the survey. And your mindset was, I've got something of value for them, and I need to tell them about it. Did that happen right away? Did that evolve over the course of the summer? How did you change that mindset from, I would guess, most people? I don't want to bug them. And you said, I've got something valuable they need.
Sure. I won't kid us both to think that there weren't folks that ran to the other side of the mall when they saw us coming.
There's the guy
But
in the blue vest.
that's
Run
right.
from him.
Exactly. But thinking about snowball and uncommon commonality, and so looking for a way to be warm to someone, and just starting off with, "Hey, how are you? I've got something. Can I ask you? Do you mind if I bother you for a moment?" And each of the colleagues on that team, and this goes back a lot of years, had their own style and their own way of connecting. But I tried to just generally be interested in that person and extend myself as a way to say, hey, I'm eager to meet you, and here's why I'm approaching you now, and let's see if we can go back to the market research area here.
I love it, Dennis. So, okay, now we'll bring that forward to today. Now you're calling on the largest organizations in the world on the most complex risk issues in the world. Do you still sort of think of it that way? Do you start with the relationship? Let's get super practical. Like, let's say, let me paint a picture. Let's say that you're introduced to somebody who could be a client of yours, and it came through a referral from one of your big raving fans. You've got a lot of them. How do you approach that first meeting?
Great question, Mo. And I've been really blessed over a 30-year career to be both on the delivery and the sales side of the business, which I am today, and then also on the buying side. And so about 10 of my 30 years was being a risk buyer for two Fortune 500 companies. And so one of the things that makes me unique is that I have done the job of the clients who I seek to serve. And so that's pretty unique in terms of being able to think ahead for the folks that I talk to. And so what I find is that that's particularly helpful to younger risk buyers in their roles early in their career, where I can really start to listen to what are their challenges and opportunities, frankly, and then to be able to start to think through how my organization, WTW, formerly Willis Towers Watson, can be helpful to them and start to solve those problems.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's get super practical. So you have a meeting, you meet a risk manager or somebody in the financial organization or whatever that could be a client of yours. You find some ways that you could be helpful to them. Let's go back and forth like rapid fire. What are different ways you think about follow up? What are different ways you think about being helpful?
Yeah, I think it all starts with preparation for meetings, and one of the things that I love about your curriculum is on the dynamic meeting prep and
Yep.
really being prepared for some of the questions that we could ask, getting the buyers to open up, the risk management professionals that we seek to serve to open up about what their opportunities are, and then really getting practical around some of the things that we're seeing that their peers are doing to benefit their organizations, and some of the ways that we can start to plug in with potential solutions as well.
So ideas from peers is one way you might follow up. Give me more. Let's go back and forth. So you might say, gosh, would it be helpful if we shared what other organizations in your space are doing around cyber or whatever?
Yeah.
What are other ways you follow up?
I think one of the things that we really strive to be elite at is in our innovation category. And so I can think of several examples of work streams that we've built from scratch that are very bespoke, very unique for clients. And so the ability to be creative, to take what is generally seen as maybe something that's not innovative, i.e. the large corporate insurance business, and to say, hey, we've done some really unique things in your industry category, and we'd love to share with you how we might be able to do something similar for you.
Okay, so work streams like how they could manage a certain process, or what would give me more detail around that?
Yeah, I think it's looking at maybe ways to think through just traditional lines of what is normally covered by an organization. If you have a franchise system, maybe there's some rules of engagement that suggest maybe that the franchisor or the owner of the business stays on one side of the risk line and the franchisees stay on the other. Combining those, coming up with ways to be innovative to bring that together. It could be a solution that we've seen work in one industry, but it's not generally used in another, and kind of jumping that
Hmm.
over the fence to that next industry. So really, again, listening to a client and then being able to share some of those perspectives.
I love that. And a lot of times, what's neat about what bringing an idea that works in another industry to the one you're talking to is it's neat because it spans both innovation and safety. And I think that's super cool because it says, hey, there's this thing that another industry is doing that we've done a million times. That screams safety.
Sure.
And at the same time, it would be new for industry. That appeals to somebody who wants to be innovative. So I really love those cross industry ideas because they can, it's one of those magical things that spans both being safe and innovative at the same time. All right, Dennis, follow-up question. I'm again thinking, I'm taking all these notes about things that you can follow up after you have a meeting. You do a great job, I've seen it in action, of following up on the human things in addition to the hireable things. So all the examples you gave so far were more work-related, WTW related, and those are great. Those are screaming, I'm hireable. But you do a great job of following up in very human, just checking in as a person, following up as a person too. So rapid fire, give me some great ways or some of the ways you typically follow up on the human side of things too.
Well, thanks, Mo. And one of the things that I learned early in the pandemic, and so I'm keeping track by the week, it's week 110 of the Work From Anywhere season that we're in, and thus the video here. What I felt like needed to be done was staying in front of clients. And so we weren't able to meet folks in person back in early 2020. And I thought quickly that what is a way that I've, got here at home that I can start to connect with folks broadly. And that turned into a digest, a blog that I started to release on a monthly basis. And it first started as sort of a colleague-only blog early in 2020, checking in, water cooler, sensing that folks really wanted human contact. And with my colleague group, hey, here was a recipe I shared. Hey, did you know that you can't buy bicycles? They're not in inventory right now. Hey, did you know this? And but it quickly occurred to me that it would be really fun to unpack the same type of idea with a recurring monthly blog out to clients and prospects. And so for the last couple of years, I've been doing that, and it's been amazing to see the reactions, to see the progress that's made with many of the partnerships and the relationships that we're looking to cultivate, all from a remote perspective.
Well, I love it, Dennis. And a lot of times, I'm speaking to the audience now, we think of marketing and business development as a capital T shape, where the base of the T is these really deep personal relationships. Dennis knows Sue, and he's going to follow up with Sue at a very specific thing. Those are sort of the one-to-one. That's the base of the T. The breadth of the T, the horizontal bar, is something that's scalable, that you can do one thing, but it could impact dozens or hundreds of people. So tell me the impact that Digest has had. For example, how many people were on it, signed up to get your monthly digest in the very first round, week number 2 or whatever we're at in the pandemic. Now you're at week 110. How many people look forward to getting that or on your list now? How has that grown over time? What's the impact it has? Tell us about that broad horizontal breadth of the T through your monthly digest.
Yeah, no question, Mo. It's had a tremendous impact. And I think it started off with a smaller group of clients that were relationships that I knew and trusted. And the thing that was unique about the digest was my perception that not only the professional side of an update, hey, here's what's up in the industry, here's some takes on this crazy hard insurance market that we're dealing with right now, but I started to weave in some personal threads. Hey, here was, again, a recipe I cooked on Saturday night. Fantastic. hey, here was something that my wife and I or our family did, and being sort of open to and vulnerable, frankly, to sharing the personal side at the same time. That reaction has been great. So in circumstances where I met someone new during those early months of the pandemic, I said, "Hey, I've got a digest. I'd love to share that with you." That became part of the way that I reach out and try to be helpful and share not only industry insurance thought leadership, but also a little bit about me and my personal brand.
I love it, Dennis. And you're such a likable person. And I think some of that is the fact that you're open, you share things a lot, you're a connector of people and ideas. And I think what's neat about the digest that the whole audience can learn from is you can do some things one time and have it impact a lot of people. And having like a monthly digest of your thoughts in whatever your expertise is, but also those personal things can really deepen that relationship. I think a lot more than most professionals think. So, Dennis, this is a great ending to this episode. Where should people go? Maybe they want to sign up for the digest. How can they reach out to you? How can they say thank you for the episode, ask you a question, engage? Where should they go?
Yes, Mo, I would love that. I would be more than happy to try to share the digest and get you signed up for that. But you can find me on LinkedIn at Dennis Baltz, and also by email at dennis.baltz@willistowerswatson.com.
That's awesome. And everybody, we'll put those in the show notes. So you can just click on it. So this has been great. Everybody, don't forget, follow, subscribe, set up your notifications for the show. We've got 4 more great media episodes from Dennis coming up next. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Mo.